Welcome back to Narrations. Tonight's story is modern, fast-talking, messy, and unexpectedly tender, a rom-com that begins with rules and sarcasm, and slowly drifts into feelings either side planned for. Friends with Benefits isn't really about casual relationships. It's about what happens when two people pretend they're immune to connection, and find out they're not. This is the story of Jamie Rowlese and Dylan Harper. New York City doesn't slow down for anyone. It moves with intention. People walking fast, talking fast, guarding themselves even faster. Here, ambition is admired, independence is expected, and emotional distance often passes for strength. Jamie Rowlese fits right in. She works as a headhunter, convincing talented people to leave behind comfort and familiarity for something bigger. She's persuasive, sharp, and always in control. Jamie knows how to read people quickly, what they want, what they fear, and what they'll respond to. She doesn't believe in romance. Or at least, she tells herself she doesn't. Past relationships have taught her that attachment leads to disappointment, that expectations complicate things, and that needing someone is a liability. Jamie prefers clean lines, clear boundaries, and the freedom to leave without explanation. Across the country, Dylan Harper lives a very different version of restraint. Los Angeles is bright and open, but Dylan's life feels heavy. His father walked away years ago. His mother's health is fragile, her memory slipping unpredictably. His younger sister struggles with anxiety, leaning on Dylan more than she realizes. Dylan has learned how to be reliable. He shows up. He listens. He doesn't cause problems. He keeps his emotions contained because someone has to hold things together. When Jamie reaches out to him about a job opportunity in New York, Dylan is hesitant. Moving feels risky. Leaving his family feels selfish. But Jamie is convincing. Not just professionally, but personally. She sees potential in him that he's never fully claimed for himself. Their first conversations are easy. Not flirtatious, just alive. They challenge each other, tease, push back. There's an energy between them that feels refreshing rather than romantic. Jamie convinces Dylan to take the leap. And suddenly, Dylan's life shifts. New York overwhelms him at first, the noise, the pace, the feeling that everyone else knows exactly where they're going. Jamie becomes his anchor. She shows him the city, introduces him to her friends, helps him settle into an unfamiliar world. They spend a lot of time together. Not intentionally. It just happens. They talk about everything: work, childhood, relationships. Both are candid about their pasts. Both admit they're tired of dating, tired of pretending things will turn into something meaningful when they usually don't. They agree on one thing quickly. They don't want romance. They don't want heartbreak. They don't want expectations. One night, after a particularly disappointing date each, the idea surfaces, casually, half-joking, almost absurd. What if they just slept together? No dating. No emotional obligation. No pretending it's something more. Just honesty. They laugh about it. Make jokes. List reasons it would never work. And then, quietly, they realize how logical it sounds. They set rules like adults who believe they're immune to what rules can't control. No staying the night. No cuddling. No calling afterward. No emotional attachment. No jealousy. Sex without complications. They're confident. Almost smug about it. And at first it works. They hook up easily, playfully. There's laughter instead of awkwardness. Separation instead of expectation. Jamie leaves when she's supposed to. Dylan respects the boundaries. They return to being friends without hesitation. Jamie feels empowered. Dylan feels relieved. This is simpler than dating. Safer. But simplicity has a way of dissolving when comfort settles in. Jamie starts lingering a little longer. Dylan starts noticing small things. The way Jamie goes quiet when she's tired, the way she deflects emotion with humor, the way she listens more than she admits. They talk more after. Share stories they didn't plan to. Sit closer than the rules allow. They still insist it's casual. They still follow the rules, mostly. Then life begins to blur the lines. Jamie meets Dylan's family. She expects it to be polite and brief. Instead, she's pulled into something intimate and fragile. Dylan's mother, warm but fading. His sister, anxious and open in a way Jamie isn't used to handling. Jamie surprises herself. She stays. She listens. She cares. Dylan notices this, how naturally Jamie steps into moments that matter. How gentle she is when she thinks no one's watching. The version of Jamie he's seeing doesn't match the rules they wrote. It unsettles him. Jamie feels it too. She doesn't like how easily Dylan reads her. How much space he takes up in her thoughts. She jokes her way out of discomfort, insisting everything is fine. But when Dylan starts seeing someone else, casually, within the rules, Jamie feels something sharp and unfamiliar twist in her chest. It isn't jealousy. She tells herself it's pride. But deep down, she knows better. The rules are still there. But something underneath them has already changed. The rules don't disappear overnight. They just stop working. Jamie insists nothing has changed. She keeps her tone light, her jokes sharp, her distance intact. On the surface, everything looks the same: casual meetings, easy laughter, confidence that borders on arrogance. But underneath, something has shifted, and she feels it every time Dylan isn't immediately available, every time his attention isn't exclusively hers. Dylan feels it too. He tries to follow the rules they created, even as they start to feel pointless. He tells himself that Jamie's distance is what they agreed on. That the discomfort he feels when she pulls away is his problem, not hers. But pretending doesn't erase the truth, it just delays it. When Dylan starts dating someone else, it's casual. He doesn't hide it. He doesn't dramatize it. According to their rules, he's doing nothing wrong. Jamie smiles through it. She teases him. Encourages him. Pretends it doesn't matter. But when she's alone, the confidence slips. She finds herself replaying moments, conversations, shared looks, quiet nights that felt more intimate than anything she's willing to name. She tells herself she's losing control, and that terrifies her more than heartbreak ever could. So she tightens her grip. Jamie pulls back emotionally, enforcing distance more aggressively than before. She cancels plans. Keeps conversations short. Reminds Dylan, subtly, repeatedly, that this was never supposed to be serious. Dylan feels the shift immediately. He tries to talk to her, gently at first. He asks questions she deflects. He offers honesty she refuses to accept. And slowly, frustration creeps in, not anger, but sadness. The kind that comes from realizing you care more than the other person is willing to admit. Things unravel quietly. They argue, not loudly, not explosively, but with words that cut deeper because they're restrained. Jamie accuses Dylan of wanting more than they agreed on. Dylan accuses Jamie of hiding behind rules to avoid vulnerability. Neither is wrong. Neither is ready. The breaking point comes when denial can no longer hold. Dylan confronts Jamie honestly, no jokes, no sarcasm, no armor. He tells her how much she matters to him, how deeply he's grown attached, how pretending this is nothing has started to hurt. He doesn't beg. He doesn't pressure. He just tells the truth. Jamie panics. Not because she doesn't feel the same, but because she does. Admitting it would mean giving up control. It would mean risking disappointment, abandonment, and the kind of emotional dependence she's spent her life avoiding. So she does what she's always done when things get too close. She pushes him away. Hard. She tells him he's confused. That this isn't love. That he's projecting because of his family issues, his need for stability, his desire to feel anchored. She says things she knows will hurt, because hurt creates distance, and distance feels safer. Dylan is devastated. For the first time, he allows himself to feel it fully, the rejection, the disappointment, the realization that caring doesn't guarantee being chosen. He walks away, not dramatically, but decisively. He stops calling. Stops waiting. Jamie tells herself she's relieved. And for a while, she almost believes it. Life goes on. Work fills her days. Nights feel longer. Quieter. She distracts herself with dates that go nowhere, conversations that never quite land. The city that once felt empowering now feels impersonal. Jamie starts to notice the absence. Not just of Dylan, but of the version of herself that existed around him. The one who laughed without deflecting. Who listened without planning an exit. Who felt seen without trying to control the narrative. Dylan, meanwhile, retreats inward. He focuses on his family. On being present. On accepting that sometimes, wanting something doesn't make it happen. He doesn't try to replace Jamie. He lets himself miss her, honestly, painfully. And that honesty changes him. He realizes that vulnerability, while terrifying, is also clarifying. That love isn't weakness. That showing up emotionally doesn't mean losing yourself, it means choosing connection despite the risk. The realization hits Jamie slowly. It comes in quiet moments, standing alone in her apartment, hearing a joke she'd normally text Dylan, attending events where she instinctively looks for him. She begins to understand that independence isn't the same as isolation, and that protecting herself has cost her something real. The final moment comes unexpectedly. Jamie sees Dylan again, calm, composed, no longer waiting. Something in his quiet confidence makes her realize what she's done. She doesn't feel chased. She feels left behind. And that clarity breaks her defenses. Jamie shows up. Not with jokes. Not with rules. Not with sarcasm. With honesty. She admits she was afraid. That she's always been afraid. That independence became her shield because relying on someone once felt too dangerous. She tells him she didn't know how to choose him without losing herself, and that pushing him away was easier than admitting she wanted him to stay. Dylan listens. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't punish her with silence. He doesn't rush forgiveness. He tells her the truth too, that he needs someone who chooses him openly, not halfway. That love can't survive in secrecy or denial. That if they try again, it has to be real. Jamie agrees. Not because it's easy, but because she's finally ready to risk it. They don't promise perfection. They promise effort. And for the first time, that feels enough. Friends with benefits isn't about casual relationships. It's about the lies we tell ourselves to avoid being hurt, and the courage it takes to admit that wanting someone doesn't make you weak. Sometimes, the hardest thing isn't falling in love. It's letting yourself stay. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this narration, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next story.